Hey College Success, this is your Week 10 assignment video. So if you have not watched the Week 10 lecture video that goes over Chapter 8, you want to make sure you go ahead and do that so that you have context for your assignment. So this is another normal week. You have a discussion post due by Wednesday for your weekly attendance, and you want to respond to 2 classmates by Sunday. You have a Chapter 8 assignment and then a Chapter 8 quiz. So let's jump right in. So here is your prompt for Chapter 8. Remember, Chapter 8 is all about communication. So Chapter 8 prompt says, reflect outside your usual comfort zone and friend group. So outside of the people that you normally communicate with. And think of someone with whom you disagree. So it could be someone you work with, maybe another student on campus. I mean, it could be a friend that maybe you tend to disagree with quite often. That's okay. And think about what they have said and how that had an effect on you. So think of someone where you've had some kind of disagreement with them and what they said that maybe impacted you. Did they use correct etiquette when communicating their opinion? In your response, did you respond in a way that was, with respect, and did you follow kind of etiquette as well? So you're just kind of thinking through how you communicate. Essentially, the base of this is, how do you communicate with someone with whom you disagree? In what way do you respond to people if they do not agree with you or have different opinions? And that's fine. Different contexts require different types of responses, and you can address that in your response. So just make sure that you are around 150 words and talk about kind of the meat of the prompt here, talking about how you communicate with people who do not necessarily agree with you and how you respond, whether they use etiquette or not, if they offend you or not, if they're respectful or not, like those type of things. All right, your Chapter 8 assignment. So, post by Wednesday, respond to 2 classmates by Sunday. There we go. Chapter 8 assignment. This is called Communicating with the Professor. It's going to open up into one of these PDFs. And for this, honestly, this is not editable. So what you are going to do is either open up a Word document or go ahead and click in here and write submission and submit it that way. But what you are doing is looking at these 3 scenarios. And in all 3 of these, the student communicated with the professor in probably a way that would not be considered like etiquette, netiquette, or respectful. So you want to look at how they did this. Take a look and see where the email is coming from, the language of the email, what could they do better. It's not that they're horrible, but there's room for improvement for sure in all 3 of these. So what would you do differently in number 1? So rewrite it in a way that is going to be more appropriate based on what Chapter 8 talks about with communication. This is an email. Communication 2 is a text message. Communication 3 is a face-to-face interaction. So what you are going to do is, under write submission, I know I capitalized weird there. In each of these, you are going to rewrite it. I'm just typing all over the place, y'all. You're going to rewrite it so that it is more appropriate based on what Chapter 8 rules of like communication are, if you will. So look at each scenario. 1 is an email, 2 is a text message, and 3 is face-to-face. And it is fine for you to say like, oh, communication 2 text message should have been done face-to-face, or this email should have been done through office hours, or I don't know, whatever. That you can tell me that it should have been done in a different medium. That's fine as well. Or if you feel like it was fine being face-to-face, like how could they have addressed it maybe a little bit better? So that's what you were doing for the communicating with a professor example. And then the last thing is your Chapter 8 quiz. So that'll open up into a Word document. So question 1 is going to be asking you to kind of, if you were a part of this outreach team and you had to create a presentation about everyday communication versus college communication, what elements would you describe? Like, how do we vary our communication? How do we change it based on just everyday kind of communication with peers versus how we should be communicating at the college level in like a college environment? Question 2 wants you to specifically look at Reingold's 5 literacies, and it addresses all 5 of those. Which is your most and least developed, and provide a personal example of each. So it's only 2. I know there are 5 literacies, but it's asking you for your most developed and your least developed. Provide a personal example for each. That means 2 examples, not an example for every literacy, an example of your most developed area and your least developed area. And for more information on that, that's in section 8.3, communication technology, and you'll see those 5 right here. It'll go into more detail there. The next question, question 3, is talking about communicating. If you wanted to improve your listening skills, what strategies would you choose and why do you think they would be helpful? Question 4 is talking about barriers to communication. When you are not being understood, what might be the issue? And then question 5 is like a little scenario. What would you tell that person to do in this situation? All right, when you're done with that, you'll submit that as well. So as a recap for this week, make sure you post your original response in the Chapter 8 discussion by Wednesday, respond to 2 classmates by Sunday, complete your Chapter 8 assignment and your Chapter 8 quiz by Sunday. Have a great week.